Let me begin by sharing an experience I had during my training as a priest. We were the last group to arrive at the seminary. It so happened that as we were asked to join the rest of the group, particularly when we had our first meal, I shared a table with the first person that I saw and disliked in the seminary. Unfortunately, I can't mention his name because there are cameras in case he bumps into this video. Let's just find a nickname. I don't know what nickname we use. John. But there was John in the class as well. Amos is a prophet. Let's just say Ringo. So we went for our first meal and he was sitting right in front of me. I didn't like his voice. He had a croaky voice. It was so terrible in my ears. Secondly, he didn't like combing his hair. So everything about him to me was just so disgusting. I didn't like it. Days went by, and in the seminary, you were expected to smile at everyone because we are brothers who have come to join the priestly ministry. I didn't like this gringo for a long period. Each time I would see him, even in class, even in the chapel, I would make sure that I won't sit close to him because I just couldn't see my hand shaking his, giving the sign of peace. He had not done anything to me. The first time I saw him, his laughter, his eyes, everything was so irritating. Fast forward in the seminary experience. One afternoon we were coming from sports. We were 63 in our group and we only had 8 shower blocks. And out of those 8, only 4 were working. The other 4 were not working. And the 63 of us had to shower in a space of 80 minutes. So what happened this afternoon, we were running from the sports field to the shower rooms, and then I fell in the corridor. As I was falling, I was about to hit on this glass door, and then I felt someone picking me. I had closed my eyes because I knew I was bumping into this door. And then somebody picked me up. Then I opened my eyes. It was him. I had to push him away because I didn't like that he was holding me, he was touching me. And then when I went to take shower, then went for the afternoon lecture, I was sitting in the classroom and then I thought I could have been seriously injured. It did not been this gringo who helped me not fall. Something in me told me, you just have to go to him and say thank you. But I could not. How could I go to him with all these things he had done? I had this pride, this ego that told me not to go. So back in those days in the seminary, we used to go through a training that was, we called it the Vatican I training. It was so old school. We would have 1 slice of bread and half cup of tea every day for 4 months. That was our training. And then, if you go to Methuli seminary, there are avocado trees and guava trees, plenty of them. You were not allowed to pick a guava, even if it's on the ground and eat it. You would have to go to Father and ask for permission. And then Father would say, go and bring it here. And then you would look at it and decide whether to allow you to eat it or not. You were just being trained to be honest and to be resilient. There were plenty of them. In the afternoon or sometimes in the evening, you asked to go for meditation. And then you're sitting under the guava tree or the avocado tree. And then you see them falling, but you do not pick them. It was that strict. So, at any moment in the seminary, we were so hungry. At any time, wake us up at 2 a.m. we would eat. At any time, you are just hungry. So, this evening, a few days after my incident with the gringo, I felt I should go to him and talk to him. I went to him. He was in his room, lying on his bed, and his belly was out there protruding. I wonder how would have a big belly, most of us were starving. stick that he was using as a toothpick. And he said, yeah, where? I said, you have come. Then I said, yeah, I just want to talk to you. I wanted to say thank you for this other day. And then he said, I know you come. He was this irritating person. And then when he said that, I felt so embarrassed, and then I thought I shouldn't have come. And then I sat there because I wanted to revenge. I couldn't just go back without revenging, without at least saying something that would also annoy him. But before I left, he started talking in a different way. He was different from this person that I would know from the public. And then he started sharing with me his own challenges. And then I started listening to him. We chatted a lot. Before I left, he said, Farato. And then closed the door. And then I closed the door. He took a stool. He opened one of our lockers. And then there was a packet, a huge packet of cookies. It was not allowed in the seminary to have personal food. Each time anyone went out and came back, you were asked if you had food, and then you would submit to Father Rector. Now, I think we'd gone for a month or so, and then this guy had a pack of about 5 kg cookies. And then when I saw them, I nearly died. It was like, this there's no sin clever than this one. Now at the same time, I was hungry, but I didn't want to be an accomplice in this situation. And then he picked a few, and then he looked at me, he opened this bag and stretched his hands. I looked at him, I looked at the cookies, and then I looked at the door. And then I moved towards him, and I picked a few cookies. And then now we sat down, as we were chewing, we were looking at each other in the eye. We knew what we were doing was wrong. Just being caught, it was automatic dismissal. You would go home, you would not even argue. I tell you, from that day, that's when I discovered how a sweet brother he was. Maybe it was the assistance of his cookies. From that day, I saw him differently. I then realized that the moment I started relating with him well, even in any other spheres I was okay. I had stopped playing table tennis at the seminary because he would come as people were playing table tennis and he would be coaching him, telling me what to do. Don't do that. So I would not play it because it was irritating. When you go for darts or drafts, you could also come and start telling you, move this one. You don't throw like that. So I stopped doing anything. He was just irritating. But why was I so observant of all these things? Was it that I was the only one who was seeing what was happening? I think yes, it was. Why? Because I was just sensitive to his negativity. But he had friends. There are people who loved him. Why was it like that? Why were there two worlds? A world of one who is extreme, who didn't love him that much. I hated him. And then there were those who would tolerate him. I don't know what the experience when they were tolerating him, but what I know by myself was that he was a distraction in my prayer time. I wasted more energy thinking about him, just gathering this negative energy so that the moment I get an opportunity, I will just throw tantrums to him. I call him Gringo today. You also have your own Gringo in your family, in your workplace, even here at the parish. Are you aware that you may dislike someone that even when you see them going to receive communion, you wish Father would tell them that no, the communion is finished, sit down. Are you so aware that you may dislike someone to the point that you even want to correct their laughter, you want to fine-tune it? How do you do that? First, you must put value and dignity to yourself. Certain things that we do, it is because we don't know how much valuable we are. Our presence, we don't feel it sometimes amongst other people because we have never really looked at who we are and we've never really put effort in doing good so that our goodness can blend well with other people. I was living again in a community where there were 3 priests, there were 3 of us. So this other day, I drove to the shops with the other priests who were staying with. So we came back home. And then I missed money from my car. It was a lot of money. You know how much it was? $10. I couldn't find the money, and he was the only suspect. I couldn't ask him because I didn't have hard evidence. But I knew it was him because he's the only person who got into the car with me and we went to the shops. I began to treat him with this disdain because I knew he had taken my money. We would talk, but I was no longer comfortable with him. We would watch television together, but I would not talk to him as much as I used to do. When we went for meals, I would not wait for him as we usually did. We would just find me already eating. And as he would come and sit at the table, I would eat and quickly leave. Because I knew he had stolen my money. I don't recall how much long we went with such a cold relationship. But it so happened that this other day, when I was cleaning, I found my $10 bill. It was in there. Now imagine all the things I've been thinking about him. Because during those days when I lost my money to him, when I thought he stole my money, there's this other day, I saw him eating some round donuts, and I knew it was my money. I saw him juicing airtime, it was a $5 solid airtime. I knew it was my money, because he had no money. I went on for days cursing him in my mind. But when I found my money, it was difficult to go to him and say I'm sorry. Because he didn't even know what I was thinking about him. Now let's look at 2 times of reconciliation in this case. The first case was with this colleague of mine, Green. I actually stood up and I went to him and we spoke. And then our relationship was different. But in the second case, it was difficult. I couldn't just go to him and say, Father, I'm sorry, I've been thinking this and this about you. It could have made the relationship much more worse. But what did I do? In my mind, in the silence of my heart, I told myself, I have to rectify what I've been doing. Whatever ill I've been thinking about him, I have to go to him and find a good way of doing things good to him. So what I stopped doing, I started doing, but I even did it more. I would go to the shops at times and bring him some airtime. The same airtime I was accusing him of. I went to the shops and I brought these round donuts and I gave him. So that what I've been thinking in my mind that he had done with my money, I had to rectify it. It is not every time that you are not in good relations with someone that you desire reconciliation and you have to go and talk to them. Start within your family. There are people you can't just start talking to them. It could be your sibling, it could be your parent. But make an action. How do I make an action? Start within your mind. Think good about them. Pray for them in a good way. Even if they do not know, I swear, one day they will feel it. When we are like this as human beings, we are not just mere human beings of flesh and bones. We are spirit beings. Deep inside us, there is this spiritual life that lives and that exists, that can be felt. In the silence of your heart, should you know that there is a broken relationship between myself and so and people, without even mentioning it to them, in the silence of your heart, start sending them positive energy. But when it is possible to go and say, I'm sorry, do so. There is beauty in reconciliation. When I spoke to Green, he gave me those cookies, and then I think I ate 33 or 34 of them. Before I left, we looked at each other, and then we hugged, and then I left. But before I left, he said to me, Durama, take a few. And then I filled my pockets. From that day, he became different. Now he's a priest. When I see him, I remember what he did. And then what I learned in my life is, I should learn doing good to someone even if they don't care. Even if they do not know. So part of our reconciliation is When you want to be healed yourself, if you feel broken, and sometimes you feel used and abused by people, do not stop doing good. One day it will pay. You may never know it is today, but one day it will pay, and that time will come. As we go through this season of Advent, tell yourself that I want to be a good instrument of God. I want to bring harmony. I want to bring goodness between people. Some of the things that bring us down have to do with our childhood. Forget that childhood. I remember the other week when I came here, I was sharing my experience as a priest. How my childhood affected certain things that I was doing as a priest. But the moment I sat down and told myself, no, I'm done with this. I'm going old. Days are moving. I have to enjoy life now. My life changed. It will never be the same. Why are you not changing? Why is your life always circulating in the same place? Probably it is because you have not managed to realize that within your spheres, there are relations that you should make good so that you proceed well. Ask for that grace. It is visible and it is in abundance. If you do that work, you would have done what Christ exactly came to do in this world, to bring harmony, to bring love. You and I can do it, and we must do it, because we are sons and daughters of above, not of this world.